You think your kindness is a virtue. It isn't. It's a resource. And every resource gets extracted by someone who understands its value better than you do. You help people because it feels good to be needed. That's not generosity. That's a transaction you didn't realize you were making. You gave something away, and in exchange, you received a feeling. A cheap one. It fades in an hour. Meanwhile, what you gave your time, your energy, your compliance that doesn't fade, someone else keeps it. I learned this early, long before most people learn anything real about themselves. In the White Room, kindness wasn't punished. It was studied. Every instinct to comfort, to soften, to apologize. First it was logged, mapped, and later used as a lever. Not because the people running it were cruel. Because they understood something you haven't figured out yet. Kindness without judgment isn't goodness. It's a vulnerability with good PR. Think about the last time someone took advantage of you. Really think. They didn't overpower you. They didn't threaten you. They just knew you'd say yes. They knew you'd apologize, even when you weren't wrong. They knew you'd stay quiet to avoid being difficult. That's not an accident. That's a prediction. And you fulfilled it perfectly. You were profiled. And you performed exactly as expected. That's the part that should bother you. Not that someone used you. That you were so easy to calculate. People don't respect kindness. They register it. Then they build strategies around it. The coworker who always asks you to cover their shift, they didn't choose you randomly. They tested the water once, saw you fold, and now they return to the same source because it's reliable. You are, to them, a resource with a guaranteed yield. The friend who only calls when they need something, they're not confused about how friendship works. They know exactly how it works. They know you'll pick up. They know you'll listen. They know you'll never bring up the imbalance because bringing it up would make you feel petty. So they let your fear of seeming petty do the work for them. You've been managed, quietly, without confrontation, without even needing your consent. What exactly did your kindness protect you from? Being disliked? Being seen as cold? Being labeled difficult? Ask yourself who benefits when you avoid those labels. It's not you. You still did the extra task. You still absorbed the emotional weight. You still walked away with less than you started with. The only thing you protected was someone else's comfort, at the cost of your own leverage. That's the trade nobody tells you you're making. Here's what most people misunderstand about power. They think it's loud, aggressive, dominant. It isn't. Power is the ability to predict someone completely and let them believe they acted freely. You think you chose to help. You didn't choose. You reacted. There's a difference, and almost nobody sees it. A person who understands psychology doesn't need to manipulate you with tricks. They just need to identify your default setting and press it gently, repeatedly, until it becomes automatic. Guilt is one setting. The need to be liked is another. The fear of conflict is the most common one of all. You were never manipulated by a genius. You were manipulated by someone who simply paid attention while you weren't. That's the whole secret. Attention. Most people are too busy performing their own personality to observe anyone else's. The ones who watch instead of talk, they're the ones running the room, even when they never open their mouth. If you're interested in understanding human nature instead of being controlled by it, join my Discord. The link is in the pinned comment. Now think about social media. You post something. You wait. You check again in 4 minutes. Nothing. You check again. Still nothing. That anxiety you feel, that's not about the post. It's about validation withdrawal. You built a small emotional economy around external approval, and right now, the market isn't buying. That discomfort isn't random. It's designed. Every platform you use has studied that exact reaction and optimized around it, the same way I would study an opponent's tendencies before a test. You are the test subject. You just don't get the results. Now think about typing a message, then deleting it. You wrote what you actually felt. Then you reread it. Then fear entered, not fear of being wrong, fear of being perceived. So you rewrote it into something safer, smaller, something that wouldn't risk anything. That single edit tells me everything about you. Not because it's shameful, because it's universal. Almost everyone does this. And the people who don't, the ones who send the raw, unfiltered version, those are usually the ones who already understand that most reactions from other people are noise, not judgment worth fearing. You edited yourself for an audience that wasn't even paying attention. Let's talk about arguments, since you've clearly had one recently. You raised your voice. You listed every grievance. You needed them to admit you were right. Did they admit it? No. Did the relationship improve after? No. So what exactly did your anger achieve? You're angry. That's expected. Anger is predictable. Predictable people lose. The moment you raise your voice, you've already told the other person everything they need to know about your limits, your triggers, your weak points. You handed them a map while thinking you were fighting a battle. Real control doesn't announce itself. It doesn't perform. It waits, watches, and responds only when a response actually changes the outcome. Most arguments aren't about winning. They're about being witnessed. You didn't want to be correct. You wanted someone to finally see how much you'd been holding in. That's not strategy. That's a release valve, mistaken for a victory. Let's go back to kindness, because that's the real subject here. Kindness becomes dangerous the moment it stops being a choice and becomes an identity. Once you need to see yourself as the nice one, you've handed control of your behavior to whoever wants to exploit that image. You'll do things that hurt you just to remain consistent with a label you didn't even choose. You inherited it from a parent's approval, a teacher's praise, a childhood pattern nobody questioned. You were told you were such a good kid so many times that you built your entire personality around not disappointing that sentence. That's not virtue. That's conditioning with a friendlier name. The people around you don't need to be cruel to exploit this. They just need to know that disappointing them costs you more emotionally than helping them does. Once that equation is set, you're not being generous anymore. You're being operated. You think you're being read as thoughtful. You're actually being read as available. There's no cruelty required for someone to exploit you. Only patience, and the willingness to notice what you never noticed about yourself. Watch what happens the next time you say no without an explanation. Watch the silence that follows. Watch the slight tension. Watch how quickly they either respect the boundary or reveal that they never respected you, only the version of you that complied. That silence will tell you more about your relationships than 100 long conversations ever could. You don't need to become cold to stop being used. You need to stop mistaking your discomfort with disappointing someone for evidence that you're doing something wrong. Discomfort isn't proof of failure. It's proof that a habit is finally being interrupted. Every person who has ever taken advantage of you didn't do it because they were brilliant. They did it because you were legible, open, consistent in ways they could count on. Being unpredictable isn't about becoming dishonest. It's about no longer confirming, in advance, exactly how far someone can push you. You've spent your whole life being understood by everyone except yourself. That ends the moment you stop performing kindness and start choosing it. Most people will never make that distinction. You just did.